So, as an evangelist, I have a duty to get as much information about the gospel as I can. So I listen to about 7 sermons a week, maybe even 10, sometimes it can be up to 20. And one of my biggest pet peeves about a sermon is when the pastor airs their doubts in the sermon, like they're arguing with some atheist. Okay, so leave that to your dialogues with the atheist and work it out yourself. Your congregation does not need to hear that because it's not helping them. I listened to 10 minutes or 20 minutes of a really good pastor, one of my favorites, ramble about how he's brainwashing us. And that's all I said. That was the only clear statement of the whole thing. And I gotta say, I was not impressed. Because that was 20 minutes of airtime that could have been used for something different. You know, my quote-unquote sermons, they're 7 minutes. You see how much I pack into 7 minutes. You got to do that. Now, I'm a poet. I'm a professional at packing the most amount of ideas in the least amount of space and the least amount of words. At least that's what a poet's supposed to do. But, you know, as a pastor, you got to speak with, I'll give you 2 literary devices. You got to speak with parrhesia and haseatas. And parrhesia is to speak boldly. Speak boldly and unmincing of words, not parceling up, not being too indirect, because we are Christians. We make classical designs. We are not cubists. Okay? We're not postmodernists. We're not trying to capture every angle of something. We need to have perspective and limit our perspective to what is going to create a absolutely sensible shape, so to speak. We can't be going in 30 different directions and showing the whole entire thing in every dimension, every angle, because that's just not going to help the listener. So, parrhesia, speak boldly. And the other one is haseatas. Haseatas is another word for thisness, which is a medieval philosophy of speaking to a thing for what it is. This. It's pointing to this. Speak to the thing for what it is. So, as you speak to something, look at what it is and speak about that. You see the Bible, relate it to what it actually applies to in real life. Too many sermons get confused with very indirect and very ambiguous and ambivalent ideas, and it's usually always the same as just saying, believe in Jesus, believe in Jesus, believe in Jesus, believe in Jesus, like repeating it over and over and over again. Okay, we believe in Jesus. What do we do now? We believe in Jesus. You know, I want to hear more about that. I got the believe in Jesus part down. I need to know what I do after I believe in Jesus. Okay, stop giving people the milk. And this is what thisness is. We relate the teachings of Christ to the real world and give a reason for it. Okay, so parrhesia and haseatas. And I want to say that I don't believe that Christians are necessarily doing a very good job at preaching the gospel. If they were, there'd be a lot more faith. Instead, people are they believe in Jesus, but they don't act like they believe in Jesus. You know what I mean? So and this was a great pastor, one of my favorites. But just when you have a doubt, because he's thinking in mind on brainwashing people. No, you're not brainwashing people. You're giving them the truth. Don't air a doubt in your sermons. And everybody's going to do it at some point, but try to limit it. Try to limit your doubts in your sermon. I'm just giving you good public speaking points. Is just don't be arguing with someone as you're speaking. There's no invisible interlocutor you have to defeat. You have to give them the direct and clearly stated message, not be getting beaten down by that troll you met on the internet who's got you into engage with the troll on the internet. Form your thoughts. Beat him before you express what you learn. Beat the troll, beat the atheist in the argument before you express the concept. You have to, again, use parrhesia, haseatas. You have to use direct, bold statements and bring them to what the thing is before you can ever expound upon a good message. Now you can say to me that I ramble. Okay, but, rambling, but there's a lot of content in my rambling, and that's supposed to be that way. You can say 30 things in 5 minutes or one thing in 30 minutes. What would you rather have? It's what I'm trying to say is we got to up our game because people aren't getting saved. The faith is falling, and we need to be sure in our hearts that Christ is the Lord, that He is the Son of God, and we need to believe with our hearts, confess with our mouths, and know. Not be doubting, not be fighting this invisible critic that doesn't exist. It's just some guy that we met online. He's filled our head with a lot of nonsense. Okay, fight it in your own time, not with your audience, because it's life or death for them. You know more than they do. They need to hear the truth, not your doubts.